Okay, now this puzzle might look a bit complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. In fact, I actually know the solution right away, but I actually don't know if the game will let you just right away get to the solution. Now, if you hadn't picked up if you'd failed to pick up the flare with either Nima or Billy, you would have to stare into the darkness for a few seconds to allow your eyes to adjust to it, making this puzzle a little bit harder. Not hard, but a little bit harder. I actually don't know, again, I don't know if the Jerry investigating the flare kit thing affects this in any way, but I'm just going to assume that if you didn't check the flare kit, then, you wouldn't be able to, do this puzzle, then Jerry would not have a flare.
There's a set of water tanks partway down the corridor on the right.
This puzzle can actually be a little bit, not difficult, but a little bit hard to figure out. Not terribly difficult, but like more difficult than you'd be expecting if you're not paying attention. You may have to go through this a few times to actually,
There's a ladder on the right, and on the far wall at the end.
Get everything right.
There's a big yellow pipe going
However,
down
as someone
the
who's
wall.
done this puzzle
It crosses
before,
over the ceiling partway down the corridor.
Jerry's chin just clipped into his shoulder.
I see some sort of water tanks at the end of the hall.
And as it turns out, the solution to this puzzle doesn't actually change.
T-intersection.
So, I actually know what the solution is, and the solution is that it is the bottom left one.
We could be here.
I guess they all kind of look the same.
Granted, when I did this again, I actually had no idea whether or not
this one.
whether or not they would be randomized or anything. Because when I first did, because
not this one.
the first time I did this, the solution was the bottom left. However, I wasn't sure whether or not the solution would get randomized or anything, or whether it would be like the battery puzzle from episode 2, where you had to choose every battery. Like, if each time you had to...
We must be here. It's the only one that completely matches our surroundings.
Each one. But, oh, it turns out it's not the case, because otherwise that wouldn't have appeared.
The desalination plant is here.
We're not that far.
No, we follow this route here. We follow any water mains at junctions in the direction of convergence. Even still, there's barely any turns. Look, just memorize this route.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
Maybe all those snarling noises should cue you in. Uh-oh. Oh my, that's a lot of them.
Oh my god! Look out!
Jess!
Oh, shit. Separated.
They're afraid of the flare!
I can see this.
Get behind me!
This really isn't how most nocturnal animals work. Most nocturnal animals can tolerate bright light. They can't, you know, they aren't utterly terrified by it.
Get up!
So in other words, these Trudons are even less like real animals.
I can't open it!
Move over!
Jesse!
Jerry, come on!
Oh. Better get out of here. I almost got killed during this segment because I mistakenly, for some reason, thought you needed to press up. And despite their build-up throughout the entirety of this game, that's actually the last we see of the Trudons. They are the antagonists of only the first half of this episode.
I just left her down there. I have to go find her.
What? Back down there? With those monsters? No, Jerry. She needs you safe. Jess is a strong and resourceful girl. She's doing like we are doing. Surviving.
You can't know that. I won't leave her to those animals.
Jerry, look at me. If we go back down there, we won't make it to the bottom of that ladder. The others escaped down the tunnel we were gonna follow. We know where they're going.
The marine exhibit. That's where Laura would take her.
And Yoder is with them.
Oh, God.
If we're going to join them again, that is where we have to go. The quickest way we can.
You're right. We should be able to make better time over land.
Can you get us there?
I don't know. I don't even know where we are.
I'll figure out where we are. Sorkin was following water mains. Where would they go?
Most of the water is piped in from a lagoon to the north.
Lagoon. I know this place. Let me get my bearings, and
Well
we'll
then.
figure out how to get there.
I'm gonna stay kind of quiet during this next couple of segments because this is a very large dialogue
think.
section.
It's been so long. This is my first time back on the island in nearly 12 years. Ingen has changed it so much.
Nima, this island. There's more to it, isn't there? To you, I mean.
Yes, it is very dear to me.
Tell me.
I grew up here, you know, below those trees. My people were fishermen. We would make our homes near the water during the fishing season. I loved the water. I would swim in the ocean. So far. That's why my father called me Nima. I could go anywhere. Run in the jungle, climb the trees. These monsters. There was never anything like them on this island before. It was all very peaceful before Ingen bought the island from Costa Rica.
I see now. You and your family used to live on this island?
My family, everyone, my whole tribe. This had been our home for thousands of years. The island is so different now. I know the island. It's part of me. But when Ingen came to the island, important men from Costa Rica came and asked my father to go back with them. They wanted my father to make a good impression, so that Costa Rica could ask Ingen for a good deal of money for our island. When he was in Costa Rica, he was asked to cut his hair and wear a suit, so that he wouldn't seem simple to the Ingen people. I felt as I feel now. My father was different. I knew him, but some part of him had been lost. My father was an Awa, a spiritual
I don't know why
healer.
Jerry's dialogue
He sent
didn't
for
appear there.
Sibo, who created the earth. He was very important to our tribe. But after we left the island, he would not keep up the old traditions. He was always unhappy.
What is Sibo?
That mountain there. It is like a house, my father said.
Believe it or not, that is
My
one of the
people
very
believe
few
that the
pieces
animals
that
of the
is
world
still
built it.
considered canon
For
to this
Ingen.
game.
When
This
my
game's
father and I
status
would
as
go to the
canon is a
ocean
bit
to fish.
questionable.
When I would swim in the
It's been
ocean,
stated
my
to be
father would
soft
say,
canon,
"Lima,
essentially saying that
little
part of it is
fish,
definitely canon,
little
but
fish do not swim
whether or
so
not the
far.
entire
I
thing is
cannot
canon
catch
is
you so
debatable.
far out."
It's
When Ingen
complicated.
came to move us to Costa Rica, I became very angry with my father. Whatever he would tell me to do, I would refuse. But he would never be angry with me. He would say that I am a fish who would never eat the fisher's bait. He was right. To me, everything had a string attached.
You remind me of Jess. I mean, that's how it used to be with us before the divorce. I'd take her to the museums or to the zoo. She'd always climb up onto things, you know, such a climber. She can't not climb over things, into things. Climbed into a tiger pen once. With a live tiger.
But not anymore.
No, things haven't been the same since the divorce.
He would always remind me of my stubbornness. I believe that's how I must always be. You know, no ties, no temptation. But then I had Atlanta, my Mariquita. She is almost of an age where she will outgrow my protection. Young girls on the streets in my neighborhood, they get snatched up by local cartels, run drugs, or worse, some just disappear. Now there is no choice. Everything I do for her. Now I am the fisher, and at the same time, I have come to a way in my life where I must always chase the bait. I want for Atlanta to be free. I want for her to have opportunities that I didn't have. I just hope I can be there for her the way my father was there for me. She can be stubborn like her mother used to be, and refuse the fisher's bait. I think I know now it's a good way to be. I think that my father believed that too.
Jess changed my life, too. She was my second wife, second daughter. Apparently, I'm the genetic carrier of rebellion because both my daughters got it. I worked so hard to protect Jess and keep her out of trouble.
What about you? Did you turn out so good because your parents kept you out of trouble?
Me? I was a little hellion myself. Uncontrollable. It's in my genes. Oh, now you know this is different. Still, one thing Jess really hasn't had in her life is a present father figure. Nima, look,
What is it?
Nima, I want to trust you. Help me get Jess off this island, and I will do whatever I can to help you and your daughter.
I could not hold you to that, Jerry.
If we don't get off this island, you might not have to. Please.
All right, Jerry. Enough talk.
You know where we are?
I have a good idea. It's a difficult hike. Do you feel rested?
Hungry. A little thirsty, but I just want to get to Jess.
Good. Shh.
Did you guess Dilophosaurus?
Hello?
That was actually the call of a whooping swan. Dinosaurs shared many features with modern-day birds. For instance, we now know that many theropod dinosaurs from the Jurassic period's vocal organs are just like modern birds.
Not quite the case. It's generally agreed that dinosaurs' vocal organs were a lot more like those of crocodilians, and therefore would have been a lot less complex. But good attempting to explain away the little inaccuracy of the Dilophosaurus call. Except, whooping swans are not native to Costa Rica. They're native to Eurasia. And, goodbye Troodons. I guess they'll never get through that door.
Would you look at this?
What are they?
They look like feeder tanks. This could be a hatchery.
A hatcher what?
They're raising these fish to feed another animal, like at Marine World.
Like the
Oh,
killer
that
whales?
line didn't age well.
Precisely.
That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish.
How many whales are they feeding?
I don't know. It looks like each of these tanks could feed 3 or 4 orcas per day.
Well, you're a fish expert now.
I can make an educated guess.
Look, there's a sign over there. It looks like a schedule or something.
This is a hatchery. That's the stocking schedule for the tanks.
Some tells me these fish aren't for feeding whales, huh, Doc? Hold up. I hear something.
It turns out what he heard was just another I don't know why, but the textures in this place just really look off, especially in this part. I don't get it.
All clear.
Dad!
Jess! Oh, thank God. Are you okay? Are you hurt?
No, I'm okay. Just, can we go home now?
I'm so glad you two are safe, Jerry. How did you manage to get here?
We climbed out of the tunnels through a service hatch near one of the tour routes. Luckily, someone left the tour program running. Thanks.
You mean...
Dr. Sorkin, the phones are not working.
I'm sorry?
There is no dial tone. You said the phones would be working here.
That's odd. My control terminal showed that the main lines here were active. Unless... Of course. Everything is controlled by the computer systems, even the phones. If the power outage outlasted the battery backups, then the system is probably just waiting to be booted up.
Get us to the phones, Doc. We don't have a lot of time.
Mr. Yoder, I refuse to be pushed around by you any longer.
Look, this isn't a day trip. If we don't contact InGen and get another helicopter out here for you all, the next flight over the island is gonna be a wing of B-52s carrying holy hellfire.
What?
That's right.
Yeah, I'll get into this in the next parts because I don't think I'll have enough time to explain it here, but essentially, this is the biggest reason why this game is only considered partially
Why
canon.
didn't you tell me earlier? This is my home!
What do you mean you're home? I didn't tell you earlier because I thought we'd be off the island by now.
This island is the ancestral home of her people.
Wait. What is Dr. Sorkin doing?
Billy, you just had to open your
Laura?
big fat mouth in front of the animal. The one who cares more about animals than other
Where's
people.
she going?
But on the other hand, Billy was actually right.
This rotunda, it's where the control room is. She's going to
Unfortunately.
the phones without us.
Damn it! Get that elevator back up here!
Well, shit. We got more problems to take care of.
Oh, they've really made a lot of progress in construction here. Paleozoic, huh? Well, most of the specimens here aren't really from the Jurassic period anyway.
Oh, there they go, acknowledging that.